Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode number 56. Robert Max here. Hope everyone's doing well. And we're returning to APBA baseball for the 1994 double elimination tournament. This is game number 3, which has the 6 seed Oakland A's traveling to Three Rivers Stadium to take on the number 3 seed Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember, we are playing basic APBA. These are 20-man card rosters using a 3-man pitching rotation. I am still new to this game, so there is a very good possibility there will be a mistake or two. I'm still fumbling a bit, manipulating the boards and getting the mechanics down. So let's take a quick look at the bracket so far. We can see this is game number 3. This is the Pirates, number 3 seed. The A's are visiting. They're the number 6 seed. The winner will move on to game 8 and take on the winner of the Twins and Cubs game. And the loser will drop down to the loser's bracket and will play game 6 against the loser of the Twins-Cubs game, which is game number 4, and we'll follow this one. Let's get to the starting lineups. First for the visiting A's. Leading off in left field, Ricky Henderson. Batting second in center field, Stan Javier. Batting third in right field, Ruben Sierra. Batting fourth, first base, Mark McGwire. Batting fifth, Terry Steinbach. He's the catcher. Scott Brocious is at third base. He bats sixth. Brent Gates is at second base. He bats seventh. Mike Bordick is the shortstop and bats eighth. Batting ninth and pitching is right-hander Ron Darling. He is a grade C pitcher with a Y modifier. And for the home Pittsburgh Pirates, leading off Carlos Garcia. He's at second base. Jay Bell, the shortstop, bats second. Andy Van Slyke in center field bats third. Orlando Merced is at first base. He bats fourth. Dave Clark is in right field. He bats fifth. Al Martin is in left field. He bats sixth. Jeff King is at third base. He bats seventh. Don Slott is behind the plate. He bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Zane Smith. He is a grade B pitcher with a Z modifier. Both teams have 39 fielding points, so that makes them both fielding 2 teams. As far as speed and lack thereof for the A's, Henderson, Javier, and pitcher Darling are fast, while McGwire and Steinbach are slow. For the Pirates, Garcia, Martin, and Smith, the pitcher, are fast, with Don Slott being slow. All right. So we are ready to go. Henderson steps up to the plate. Smith has finished his warm-up tosses. Umpire says play ball, and we are underway. And that's popped near the mound. Second baseman Carlos Garcia has it for the first out. And there's one away. Here's Stan Javier. That's laced to the gap, but caught by right fielder Al Clark for out number 2. Nice defensive play. 2 up, 2 down. Nobody on. Ruben Sierra. And that's a high hopper fielded by the shortstop Bell. Tosses over to Merced for out number 3. And the A's go 1-2-3 in the top of the first. And after 1/2 inning of play, it is the A's 0 and the Pirates coming to bat. Leading off for Pittsburgh is second baseman Carlos Garcia. And that's a chopper past the pitcher, Ron Darling, and through the hole for a leadoff base hit for Garcia. So he's on first with nobody out. And that's going to bring up Jay Bell. Pirate shortstop. He strikes out. First strikeout for Darling and the first out of the inning. So Garcia's on first with 1 out, and Andy Van Slyke. And that's a hard slide, prevents a double play, but Garcia is forced out at second. With the hard slide, he prevents the double play, and Van Slyke reaches first on a fielder's choice. So there are 2 away. And that was a that was a 4-6. McGuire to Brocious for the second out. So there's 2 away, man on first for Orlando Merced. And that's a towering pop. Brocious makes the call and the catch for out number 3. So the Pirates do get some base runners here in the bottom of the first, but do not score. And after 1 inning of play, we are tied at 0. Leading off for the A's here in the top of the second will be Mark McGuire. He'll be followed by Steinbach and Brocious. And that's a 65. And that's a drifting pop-up near the screen. Don slots there and makes the catch for out number 1. Ace catcher Terry Steinbach. And that's a strikeout. That's strikeout number 1 for Smith. And the second out here in the top of the second. Brings up Scott Brocious. 2 outs, nobody on. And we are looking at a fly ball carrying well to center field. It's over Van Slyke's head, and it is gone. A 2-out solo shot for Scott Brocious, and the A's are on the board, 1-0. That one was way out of here. All right, 2 outs, nobody on. Brent Gates. And that is chopped to Smith, and he tosses over to Orlando Merced, and it's in time for the 3rd out. But the A's do score a run on Scott Brocious. Long, loud home run over the center field fence, and after 1.5 innings of play, it's the A's 1 and the Pirates 0. Leading off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the second is right fielder Dave Clark. And that's a strikeout, number 2 for Darling, and the first out here in the bottom of the second. Nobody on for Al Martin. He's the left fielder for the Pirates. And that's popped near the mound. Second baseman Brent Gates has it, tosses over to Mark McGuire for out number 2. So nobody on, 2 outs for third baseman Jeff King. And that's a mile-high pop-up to the left side. Scott Brocious makes the call and the catch for out number 3. Pirates go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the second, and after 2 innings of play, it's the A's 1 and the Pirates 0. Leading off for the A's here in the top of the third will be Mike Bordick. He'll be followed by Ron Darling, and then back to the top of the order for Ricky Henderson. And that's a 1-hopper to second baseman Carlos Garcia, tosses over to Orlando Merced, and there's 1 away. Here's pitcher Ron Darling. And that's a drifting pop-up near the screen. Terry Steinbach takes the, or excuse me, not Terry Steinbach. Don Slott takes the mask off and makes the catch for out number 2. 2 outs and nobody on for Ricky Henderson. And that's way outside, ball 4. So Henderson's on first base with 2 outs. He draws the walk. So man on first with 2 away. And center fielder Stan Javier. And that's a pop out to the shortstop. Jay Bell for out number 3. So the A's do get a runner on base but do not score. And after 2.5 innings of play, it's the A's 1 and the Pirates nothing. Darling will face Don Slott, Zane Smith, and then Carlos Garcia back to the top of the order for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 3rd. And that's a 34. And that's a deep fly to center field. But Stan Javier is underneath that and makes the catch for out number 1. That's going to bring up pitcher Zane Smith. 1 out. And that's a strikeout. That's strikeout number 3 for Darling. And the 2nd out here in the bottom of the 3rd. So 2 outs, nobody on for Carlos Garcia, second baseman for the Pirates. And we are going to his second column. And that is driven into the right center field alley and 1 hops the wall for a 2-out ground rule double. So Garcia's on second base with 2 outs for Jay Bell. Bell struck out his first time up. And that's a RBI single to left field. And this game is tied. Garcia comes around and scores, and we are tied at 1. Bell gets an RBI. So tied at 1 with 2 outs. And that brings up Andy Van Slyke, Pirates center fielder. And that's way outside for ball 4. So 2-out walk to Van Slyke. Or excuse me, that's not right. The bases aren't empty. We have a man on first. Check that. 35. So 14. It's still a walk. And that's going to move Bell up to second. You'd think I'd know by now that the 14s are walks. I'll get there. All right, so we got runners on first and second with 2 outs for Orlando Merced, Bucco's first baseman. And that is a ground ball 5-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. That was Scott Brocious to Mark McGuire for the 3rd out. But the Pirates do score a run, and after 3 innings of play, we are tied at 1. We go to the top of the 4th, and leading off for the A's is Ruben Sierra, the right fielder. Sierra grounded out his first time up. And we are going to his second column. And that is a well hit to center field, tailing away, and it falls. He'll get 2 out of that as Van Slyke misplays it, but it is scored as a double. So a leadoff double for Ruben Sierra. And the A's are in business right away here in the top of the 4th. Man on second, nobody out for Mark McGwire. Well, McGwire fouled out his first time up to the catcher. And that's lifted to center field. Andy Van Slyke's under that, makes the catch at the warning track, and Sierra holds at second base, and there is 1 away. A's backstop, Terry Steinbach. And that's a fly ball to right field, where Clark makes the play for out number 2. And Sierra is not going to challenge his arm, so he holds up at second base. 2 outs, man on second for Scott Brocious. And that's guide to shortstop, and an easy play for Jay Bell for out number 3. So the A's do threaten with a runner in scoring position, but they can't bring him in. And after 3.5 innings of play, we are tied at 1. Leading off for the Pirates is right fielder Dave Clark here in the bottom of the 4th. And that's a sharp grounder to shortstop. Mike Bordick tosses over to Mark McGwire for the first out. Base is empty, 1 out for Al Martin, Pirates left fielder. And that's ripped into left field for a base hit. He's going to hold up with a single there. Ricky Henderson gets the ball in quickly. And that's a 1-out single for Al Martin. So Martin's on first with 1 out. And Jeff King coming to bat. Pirates third baseman. And that's a fielder's choice. Hit to third base. Tosses to second baseman Brent Gates. And they get Martin at second for the second out. And King reaches on the 5-4 fielder's choice. So there's a man on first with 2 outs. And Sluggo, Don Slott, comes to bat. And we are going to his second column. And that is a double to left field. That's going to score Jeff King. 2-out double for Don Slott. And the Pirates take the lead 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Brings up pitcher Zane Smith with a runner on second. And that's a strikeout. That is the 4th strikeout for Darling, and that ends the inning. But the Pirates do score on Don Slott's RBI double. And after 4 innings of play, it's the Pirates 2 and the A's 1. Leading off for the A's here in the top of the 5th is second baseman Brent Gates. And that's a 35. And that's ball 4. So leadoff walk for Gates. And the A's have a man on first with nobody out. And Mike Bordick shortstop. And that is a ground ball to second baseman. Carlos Garcia tosses over to Jay Bell, back to Merced for a 4-6-3 double play. Now there's 2 outs and nobody on for pitcher Ron Darling. Nice play by Carlos Garcia. Nice play all around. Garcia to Bell to Merced. And that's an infield fly. Bell's under that, makes the catch for out number 3. So the A's try to get something going in the top of the 5th, but are unsuccessful. And after 4.5 innings of play, it's the Pirates 2 and the A's 1. Back to the top of the order for the Buccos here in the bottom of the 5th, and Carlos Garcia. And that's a foul pop drifting near the screen, but Terry Steinbach is there and makes the play for out number 1. 1 out, nobody on for Jay Bell. And that's a chopper past the pitcher Ron Darling and is through for a base hit. That's a 1-out single for Bell. That's his second hit of the game. So the Pirates have a man on first with 1 out. Andy Van Slyke coming to the plate. And that's a ground ball back to Darling. He gets the force at... Oh, wait a second. Darling is a wide pitcher. And that means... that's a strikeout. For out number 2, that is Darling's 5th strikeout. And there's 2 outs. Man on first for Orlando Merced. And that's another strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for Darling, and that ends the inning. So after 5 innings of play, it's the Pirates 2, and the A's 1. Top of the order for the A's here in the 6th, top of the 6th, and that is Ricky Henderson. And that just missed inside, ball 4. So Henderson's on first again. That's his second walk of this game. So the A's have Henderson on first with nobody out. And Stan Javier. Javier's 0 for 2. And that's skied to left field. That's no problem for Al Martin. For out number 1, Henderson holds at first base. Here's Ruben Sierra. Sierra was 1 for 2. He had a double his last time up. And just missed inside. Another walk. Moves Henderson into scoring position, so we have runners on first and second with 1 out for Big Mac. And had a slowly hit to third. The only play for King is over to first to Merced. McGuire grounds out 5-3, but that allows Sierra and Henderson to move up. So now there are runners on second and third with 2 outs. And Terry Steinbach. All right, runners on second and third, 2 outs. Steinbach. And that's a strikeout to end the inning. That is strikeout number 2 for Zane Smith. But it couldn't have come at a better time. And after 5.5 innings of play, it is the Pirates 2 and the A's 1. Leading off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 6th is Dave Clark. And he'll be followed by Al Martin and Jeff King. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 7 for Darling. And there's one away. Here's left fielder Al Martin. And that's a bounding ball to second base. Brent Gates over to Mark McGwire for out number 2. So 2 outs and nobody on for Jeff King. And that's way outside, ball 4. So King draws the 2-out walk. And there's a man on first base with 2 outs for Don Slott. Slott had an RBI double his last time up. But this time it's an easy grounder. Oh no, it's muffed by Mike Bordick. And that's going to move King over the third base. And Slott reaches on the E6. So the Pirates have runners on the corners with 2 outs. And pitcher Zane Smith. Smith is going to bat here. And that's a blooped out of the shortstop's reach. It's an RBI hit. And there are 2 outs, so Slott's going to move to third, so Smith helps himself out here. Slott moves to third. King scores, and the Pirates are now up 3-1. And Zane Smith with an RBI single. So runners are still on the corners. There are 2 outs. All of this has happened with 2 outs. We're back to the top of the order. And Carlos Garcia, the Pirates' second baseman. And that's a 4-3 ground ball. Brent Gates to Mark McGwire for the 3rd out. But not before the Pirates score another run on pitcher Zane Smith's RBI single. And after 6 innings of play, it's the Pirates 3 and the A's 1. Leading off for the A's here in the top of the 7th is Scott Brocious. He'll be followed by Brent Gates and Mike Bordick. All right. And that is a sharp grounder off the shortstop's glove. Off of Bell's glove into left field for a leadoff single for Scott Brocious. So the A's have a man on first with nobody out. Brent Gates coming to bat. And that is a 45. And that is a tad off the outside corner, ball 4. Oh, wait a second. Nope, it's only ball 1 because, excuse me, Smith is a Z-rated pitcher. So we'll roll again. It's count as 1-0. And that is a ground ball to second baseman Carlos Garcia. He tosses over to Jay Bell for the first out, but a hard slide by Brocious breaks up the double play. But he's forced at second for the first out, and Gates reaches on a fielder's choice. So that was 4-6. So there's one away. Man on first for Mike Bordick. And that is a ground ball to third baseman Jeff King over to Carlos Garcia, and he fires it over to Orlando Merced, and that's an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. Second one for the Pirates this game, I believe, right? Yes. And that might have taken the wind out of the sails of the A's, and after 6.5 innings of play, it's the Pirates 3 and the A's 1. Leading off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 7th is Jay Bell. And that's a ground ball through third baseman Scott Brocious' legs. And he's going to be safe at first on an E. That's ruled an E5. It scored an E5. So Bell's on first base. Nobody out. And Andy Van Slyke. Van Slyke is 0 for 2 with a walk. And he strikes out. That's strikeout number 8 for Ron Darling. And there's one away. Man on first for Orlando Merced. And that's a ground ball to second baseman Brent Gates. He tosses over to Mike Bordick, then to Mark McGwire for an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. And after 7 innings of play, it's the Pirates 3 and the A's 1. Darling's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter here in the top of the 8th, and that is going to be Geronimo Baroa. He's going to pinch hit for Darling. His day's over. And Baroa is going to pinch hit for Darling here in the top of the 8th. Pinch hit. Top of the 8th. And warming up for the A's is going to be reliever Bill Taylor. Taylor's going to warm up for the A's, and he'll be ready when they come out in the bottom of the 8th. All right. But first of all, here's Baroa. There's nobody on base. And that is way outside ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Baroa. And we're back to the top of the order. For the A's, Ricky Henderson. Man on first, nobody out. Pirates lead 3-1. And that's another walk. 2 walks in a row. And the Pirates are going to get some action in their bullpen now for Zane Grey. So it's first and second with nobody out. And warming up is going to be warming up for the Pirates. Ravello Manzanillo is going to warm up for the Pirates. It's first and second, nobody out. And Stan Javier. Javier is 0 for 3. And that is a hit to center field. It's going to score a run. Henderson's going to move to third. And that scores Baroa. And it's now 3-2. First and third. And still nobody out. And Ruben Sierra. And on the first pitch, Stan Javier steals second base. Now it's second and third, and a count of 1 ball and no strikes to Ruben Sierra. So it's second and third with nobody out. And the Pirates lead 3-2. And that is a sac fly to center field. A runner on second moves to third. It's a sac to 8. That's going to score Ricky Henderson. And this game is tied. And on the throw home, Javier moves to third. So there is 1 out now. We are tied at 3. Ruben Sierra RBI sacrifice fly. And we have a runner on third base with 1 out for Mark McGwire. This will probably be the last batter for Zane Smith. And with 1 out, we're going to bring the infield in. And he walks him on 4 pitches. Oh, my goodness. So now we got runners on the corners with 1 out. Wheels have seemed to have fallen off for Zane Smith. And Ravello Manzanella is coming in the game to pitch. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Manzanillo is a grade C pitcher with a Y and W modifiers. Manzanillo, pitch, top of the 8th. And he's a C, Y, and W modifiers. Okay. So, just so I don't forget, we'll insert him into the lineup. Clark, Martin, King, Slot. Smith is done. And we'll put Manzanillo in the lineup. I also need to do that with Taylor, but we'll do that when we get there. All right, so we got first and third with 1 out. Game tied at 3. Terry Steinbach up to bat. Steinbach is 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts. The infield is in. And a dribble past second baseman Carlos Garcia for a hit. And that's going to score the go-ahead run with Stan Javier. That's a base hit for Steinbach. And McGwire holds up at second. So it's first and second with 2 outs. Or excuse me, still 1 out. And now the A's lead 4-3. First and second, one out. And Scott Brocious. And that is a ground ball to third baseman Jeff King over to Carlos Garcia and then to Orlando Merced for an inning-ending double play. Five, 4, 3. And Manzanella gets out of the jam, but not before the A's scored 3 runs. And after 7.5 innings, it's the A's 4 and the Pirates 3. Okay, leading off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 8th is Dave Clark. And the new pitcher is Bill Taylor, new pitcher for the A's. Okay, so Gates, Bordick, and Taylor. So Taylor is a grade B pitcher. With X, Y, and Z modifiers. All right. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of the game, but the pitchers are batting because we're playing in the National League Park. That's how I'm handling this tournament. But here in the bottom of the 8th, leading off will be Dave Clark for the Pirates. And there's nobody on base. And that's well hit, but it's right at center fielder Stan Javier for the first out. So 1 out, nobody on. Al Martin. And that is just missed inside for ball 4. That's a 1-out walk for Martin. Jeff King steps up to the plate. Taylor delivers, and Martin takes off, and he is safe at second base with a stolen base. So now there's a man on second with 1 out. For Jeff King. Counts 1-0. And that is just missed for ball 4. So now it's first and second. 2 walks in a row from Taylor. Pirates may be in business. It's Don Slott. Runners on first and second, 1 out. And that's a little high, and Slott draws the walk to load the bases up. And Ravello Manzanillo is not going to bat. His day is done. And pinch hitting for him is going to be Lance Parrish. And warming up for the Pirates is going to be Mark Dewey. He'll pitch the top of the ninth. So we got the bases loaded with 1 out and pinch hitter Lance Parrish. So Manzanillo never batted. And Lance Parrish is pinch hitting. Pinch hit in the bottom of the 8th. Okay. All right, bases loaded. Infield is in. There's 1 out. Lance Parrish from Clairton, PA. And that is way outside ball 4. 4 walks in a row. And this game is tied again. And the bases are still loaded with 1 out. So Parrish draws the walk. That scores Martin. And we're back to the top of the order in Carlos Garcia. There is action in the A's bullpen. And it's Carlos Reyes warming up. All right, top of the order. Here in the bottom of the 8th, game tied at 4. Bases loaded, 1 out. When it rains, it pours. And that's a strikeout for a big out, number 2. To Garcia. That is the first strikeout for Taylor. And the infield's going to go back now. 2 outs, bases are still loaded, and Jay Bell. Can he get out of this jam? And he gets another strikeout and does get out of it, but not before giving up a run after 4 walks. Pirates pick up that run, and after 8 innings of play, we are tied at 3. Or excuse me, 4. All right. New pitcher for the Pirates is Mark Dewey. He is a grade C pitcher with no modifiers. Grade C pitcher. And I want to insert him in the lineup so I don't forget about him. All right, here we are on the top of the 9th. Leading off is Brent Gates. We are tied at 4. Dewey's the new pitcher for the Pirates. And here we go. And that is a chopper past the pitcher, and it's through for a leadoff single. So Gates is on first with a leadoff single here in the top of the 9th. And that brings up Mike Bordick. That's a medium fly to right fielder Clark, and he makes the catch easily. Gates holds it first, and there's 1 out. And that's going to be it for Bill Taylor. Troy Neal is going to pinch hit. And Carlos Reyes will be ready for the A's in the bottom of the 9th. All right. Benches are getting thin with these 20-man rosters. All right. So, man on first, 1 out, and pinch hitter Troy Neal. And that's a strikeout. That doesn't pan out. And there are 2 away. That is strikeout number 1 for Dewey. And the man on first with 2 outs. We're back to the top of the order. And Ricky Henderson. And that's another strikeout. So Dewey gets out of the inning, striking out the last 2 batters he faces. A's do not score, and after 8.5, we are tied at 4. New pitcher for the A's is right-hander Carlos Reyes. He is a grade C pitcher as a reliever with Y and W modifiers. Grade C, Y, and W. All right, so we'll insert him in the lineup. Neal's out of there. And leading off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 9th. The score tied 4-4. Is Andy Van Slyke. And that's a high hopper fielded by shortstop Mike Bordick over to Mark McGuire for out number 1. One out, nobody on. Orlando Merced. And that's laced to the gap, but it's caught by right fielder Ruben Sierra. Nice play for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on. Last chance for the Pirates to end this game right here is Dave Clark. Clark is 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts. But this time he hits a foul ball drifting near the screen. Terry Steinbach's under that to make the catch. And the Pirates go quietly 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 9th. And we're going to extra innings with the score tied at 4. Leading off for the A's is Stan Javier here in the top of the 10th. And that's a hard hit ball right at first baseman Orlando Merced. He makes the play unassisted for out number 1. There's 1 away here in the top of the 10th. And Ruben Sierra. And that is way outside, ball 4. So 1 out walk to Sierra. So he's on first with 1 away. And Big Mac coming to the plate. And that's a high fly ball to left field. But it's no problem for Al Martin. He's under it. Makes the catch for out number 2. Sierra holds it first. So 2 outs, man on first for Terry Steinbach. And that's an easy grounder to shortstop Jay Bell, but he muffs it. And now we have runners on first and third. So an E6 puts Steinbach on base and allows Sierra to move over to third. We have runners on the corners with 2 outs. For Scott Brocious. Brocious is 2 for 4. He had a home run his first time up. That got the A's on the board. Now it's first and third with 2 outs. It's a tie game in the top of the 10th. And that is hit Back to pitcher Dewey. Tosses over to Merced for out number 3. 1-3. And the A's are retired. They have runners on the corners, threaten, but do not score. And after 9.5, we are tied at 4. Up first is Al Martin. Here in the bottom of the 10th, tied at 4. And that's a hard ball right at first baseman Mark McGuire. He'll handle it unassisted for the first out. Jeff King. And that's a foul ball near the screen that Terry Steinbach has no problem with for the second out here in the bottom of the 10th. So 2 outs, nobody on, and catcher Don Slott. And that's high, ball 1. No, that's a walk. 2 out walk to Slott. Reyes' first walk, I believe. And the pitcher's going to bat here because we're running out of players. Here's Mark Dewey. Batting for himself. Dewey. Here in the 10th. And look out, that is a ground ball, base hit to right. He turns and holds with a single. Oh, nope, it's not because there's a man on first. So let's see about that. 33 is a 7. And he is Reyes is a C pitcher. And Dewey's not a fast runner, but it is a single for Dewey. And Slott gets to third. So they got runners on the corners with 2 outs. Carlos Garcia. Base hit ends this game. Tied at 4. Bottom of the 10th. And that is a strikeout. No, it's not. Yes, it is. He is. And Carlos Garcia strikes out. The Pirates have their chance, but do not score. That's the first strikeout for Reyes. And after 10 innings of play, we are tied at 4. Leading off in the top of the 11th is Jay Bell. Oh, wait a minute. What am I talking? Brent Gates. I'm sorry. Top of the 11th, Brent Gates. Nobody on, nobody out. All right. Didn't see this coming. That's a 43. And that's chopped to pitcher Dewey. Tosses over to Merced for the first out. There's one away. Next up is Mike Bordick. 23. And that's popped near the mound, but second baseman Carlos Garcia has it. Tosses over to first for out number 2. And here's pitcher Carlos Reyes. 2 outs, nobody on. And that's way outside, ball 4. So a 2-out walk to the pitcher. Not good. Back to the top of the order and Ricky Henderson. So there's a man on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 11th, and we're tied at 4. And that is another walk. Back-to-back walks. Puts runners on first and second. The go-ahead run is in scoring position. 2 outs. Stan Javier. And this is trouble. He's a grade C pitcher. It's a push bunt past the mound, no play anywhere, and the bases are loaded. That's a single for Javier. Henderson moves to second. And Reyes moves to third. Bases are loaded for Ruben Sierra. There are 2 outs. But the go-ahead run is 90 feet away. And that's high to center field. It's not deep. Andy Van Slyke's underneath that. Makes the catch and ends the inning. The A's certainly threaten. And after 10.5 innings, it is tied at 4 yet. All right. Now Jay Bell's coming up to bat. And here we are in the bottom of the 11th. It's going to be Bell, Van Slyke, and Merced. Clark, if anyone gets on base. Reyes is still out there pitching. And that is a lead-off grounder to the second baseman, but it gets past him into left field for a leadoff single for Jay Bell. Here's Andy Van Slyke. Nobody out. Man on first. And that's a slow roller to third base. The only play for Brocious is over to first, but that's going to move Bell up to second. So that's a 5-3 for the first out, and we have a runner on second base with 1 out and Orlando Merced. Merced is due. He's 0 for 5. And he's now 0 for 6 with a strikeout. And that's strikeout number 2 for Reyes. So there are 2 outs. The man in scoring position and Dave Clark. And this looks like trouble. It's a gapper to right center field by Clark. Bell is waved around, comes in and scores, and the Pirates win this game 5-4 in 11 innings. Oh boy. So Clark gets a base hit there and an RBI. All right, so a little bit longer than I thought. I think we're a little over an hour. The Pirates score, and they win this game 5-4. Quickly get some totals for you. The A's had 4 runs on holy cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only had 5 hits. And they committed 2 errors, I believe. 1, 2. So 4 runs on 5 hits and 2 errors. And the Pirates had 5 runs on seven hits, and they did not commit any errors. The winning pitcher is Dewey. Dewey gets the win. Loss goes to Reyes. So the Pirates will move on in the winner's bracket, and they'll be playing in Game 8. They'll play the winner of the Twins and Cubs game, which is Game 4. And the A's move down to the loser bracket, and their next game will be Game 6, and they'll play the loser of that Twins-Cubs game. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you hung out this long, I really appreciate and admire your patience. I'll be back again in the near future with another video, and until then, take care.